I'm going to show you how to track down lag and latency problems with video games such as World of Tanks. First of all, you want to open up a command line, a command prompt, either on Linux or Windows or Mac. I'm going to do it on Windows. You go to your start programs where you can run a program and you type in CMD and it will open up a window such as what is pictured in the screen. And then you're going to run a program called ping. So we need to find out the address for the server, which is right here. It's on this this Wargaming wiki. It's wiki.wargaming.net. If you search for this address, wattna3 login wargaming.net, you're going to come up with this IP address. And you can see that Latin America, Brazil has a same IP address, which means that these are virtual because Illinois and Brazil don't have the same Class A. So then you're going to go over to here and you're going to type in ping-t and you're going to type in that address that you copied from the page. You can see that mine is 230 milliseconds because I am in the Philippines. And this is the lowest I ever get when playing World of Tanks. So we're going to find the source of the problem. Why is my ping time so high? We're going to do ifconfig. No, ipconfig. Ifconfig is on Linux. And you're going to look for your adapter. I'm using a wireless LAN adapter. You might be using Ethernet. This is the address for my computer, and the default gateway is the address for my Wi-Fi router. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to do ping-t, and you're going to see that it says 1 millisecond. This is very good performance. 1 millisecond is good. You should be less than 10 milliseconds. If you don't, there's obviously some sort of a hookup. It's not reporting the numbers. But if you have a high number, you can try switching to a wired connection, and a wired connection should get you down to 1 millisecond. I don't know why it's not updating. Okay, so 1 milliseconds is your target. If you get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, don't worry about it. My wireless router is about 5 feet away from me. While I was testing, it went up to 75 milliseconds in short bursts. So there are issues, even though it's only a few feet away. So now the next question is, how do we find out where the problem is? You do it using a program called traceroute. And you're going to, this IP address at 92.223 is the Chicago, Illinois login server address. Might not be the actual server, but it's the publicly available IP address. The first number is going to be my Wi-Fi, which is 192.168.1.1. Your number might also be very similar, or 10.0.0.1. The next number is going to be from my building. I live in an apartment building, and everyone's internet in the building is going to go into one router, which is going to be reported next, which is that value right there. And then we've got PLDT, which is the carrier in the Philippines. You can see that I'm 26 milliseconds from PLDT's main hub in the Philippines. So now we're going to see what the results are coming from North America. As soon as it gets there, we're waiting patiently. This is the IP address. I'm 26 milliseconds away, probably from Manila in the Philippines. You can actually search this on the internet and it will show you exactly where it is. Okay, I'm going to restart. Is it running again? Okay. SEA is Seattle, 174 milliseconds. SLC is Salt Lake City. DEN, I believe, is Denver. MCI is Kansas City. ORD is Chicago O'Hare Airport. This is probably the data center in Chicago where the game servers might be located, but we're really not sure. It's probably going to be an address that's closer to this. But this is one of the hubs for Cogent in Illinois. Notice it brings it up to 226 milliseconds, which is a lot closer to my 233 millisecond time that I had before. The big delay comes between here and here, which is coming from the Philippines to Seattle. This is going across the Pacific Ocean. So these are the tools that you run to isolate where the problem is. And it takes about 10 milliseconds to go to each airport getting across the US on the Cogent network. And then once it gets into Chicago, because O'Hare is in Chicago, and then it gets into the data center, this could mean that there is no response, or it could mean that sometimes the routers deny ping requests, which means that they'll never respond. So that's how you do it. And what you can do is you can keep ping running while you're playing the game. I'm going to show you how you do it. This is for my router, my Wi-Fi. You keep this running while you're playing the game, and if your game all of a sudden has a ping spike, you go to your desktop and you check these numbers. If the numbers are low, then it's not your router. If the number suddenly goes high, like I said, I saw it go up to 75, that means it was your router. So that's one way of doing it. Once you've isolated whether or not it's your router, then you go on to a different value. For example, you could ping the Chicago server, and then it's the same thing. But the problem is it doesn't mean that it's a Chicago server. It means every connection between you and the Chicago server, which we determined to be at least 12 or 13 connections. You can pick any of these numbers. Like I could pick this number right over here, and I could copy it and do ping-t, and it's going to say 174, or in this case 172. And this is across the Pacific into Seattle. And I could watch this while I'm playing, and if I get a ping spike, it might be because of that international connection. The way the internet works is the long distance over the Pacific is unlikely to have a spike. You're going to get it in general through the short connections going through the country, and it's often going to be on the smaller capacity routers. So we're going to go back to here. My router has a much smaller capacity than this router. These routers are all high capacity routers, and this one's probably a lower capacity router, and this one's going to be a lower capacity router. Mine is a very small capacity router with a very slow processor, and because of that, I cannot handle high amounts of traffic, so I'm going to get spikes in my traffic. They can handle spikes in their traffic a lot better than I can, and they probably have a lot of redundancy. So you're going to find the problems on all the little small hops on the way there. Okay, so that's how it works, and that's how you can track down problems. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.